Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be making a fixture plate for the bandsaw. I saw this most recently on Chuck Bommarito's channel, the outside screwball, and I've been thinking about making one of these for a while, so I came up with my own design, and that's what we're going to make today. So let's get started. I'm going to start off by marking and cutting this piece of 1/2 inch thick aluminum to approximately 6 inches square, and then we'll take it over to the mill. Alright, I've got the piece set up in the mill now after a failed attempt at clamping it directly in the vice jaws, which it fit, but then I couldn't move the table far enough in on the y-axis to mill the entire width of the plate. So I ended up having to remove the rear vice jaw and clamp it in there, which gave me enough clearance. Okay, so I've cleaned up the 4 edges, and now I'm going to install the fly cutter and clean up the top and bottom. This plate is kind of warped a little bit. I got it at the scrap yard, so it's going to take a few passes. Okay, let's put a chamfer on it now. In hindsight, I should have done this step close to last, but I was excited to try out this new chamfering tool. And of course, I had it set very, very deep, so it took several passes to get the chamfer all the way down and even. So, lesson learned. I decided to trial fit it at this point, and I'm glad I did because I encountered my first design mistake. I want this to be mounted to the saw without having to remove the vice jaws, and with the vice jaw in place, the plate is just slightly too wide and won't fit between the bearings on the blade guide, so I need to reduce it in width by about 1/4 of an inch. So I cut down the plate off camera, and here it is back again on the saw. Fits much better. I've marked off the area where the plate sits, and now I'm going to figure out where to drill and tap for the holes to bolt it down to the saw. Alright, now using some transfer screws, I'm going to transfer the hole locations to the bottom of the fixture plate, and then we can drill out and countersink those. Now I've got the fixture plate mounted in the vise, and using the coaxial indicator, I'm going to pinpoint the location of the holes based on those transfer marks, and I'll do the 2 holes on the one side, store it in the DRO, drill, and then flip the plate around and do the other 2, because once again there's not enough Y travel on my mill to reach the other side. I've got a spotting drill set up, and I'm going to spot drill the first hole. I'm going to drill it 21/64 since it's just a through hole. For the screw. Alright, swap the drill bit out again for the center drill, or excuse me, spotting drill. Alright, now I'm going to flip it around and do the same thing for these other 2 holes. Alright, so now I'm going to countersink for the screws, and then just got to drill and tap holes for the fixture plate. I'm a big fan of these Weldon countersinks with the hole that goes through. Very, very nice. Alright, do the other 3 and see how it fits on the bandsaw. Okay, so I've got the fixture plate clamped down to my mini pallet, because when I clamped it in the vise jaws, I couldn't move the table in far enough to get to this edge. So I'm going to use the edge finder and find the center now, and then we'll do I'm thinking a 1-inch bolt pattern around this. So let's get the quill down there. That should be good. Alright, so that should be the center. Alright, screw up number one. That is not the center. That's the center in this direction, not this direction. So we're going to fix that. It's close enough. It's less than a 1/4 inch off. For what this is, doesn't really matter. So we're going to call that the center. Bozo. Alright, let's go tap those holes and we're done. Alright, all tapped. Let's get it cleaned up, mounted, and give it a try. Alright, we're back over here at the bandsaw. Let's get this plate mounted up. I used the same size screws for this as I did to mount the auxiliary jaws, so I can just reuse them. I'm not going to be using them at the same time. Yeah, so I got the idea for this from Chuck Bommarito, Outside Screwball. I'll put a link in his to his channel in the description. Same basic idea. He actually has a couple different ones that he shows in at least one of his videos. And I liked the idea, so I adapted it and made this. Alright, let's get something to cut and something to hold it down with. I'll be right back. Alright, so this is just a test. So I've got a small piece of metal, and I've got a clamp. I elected to use the same, let's say we want to cut an angle on that, about like that. Let's try that one there. I elected to use 1/4 holes on this because that's the same size that my pallet for the middle uses, so I can just reuse all the same clamping hardware. Move the camera around so you guys can see. There we go. I'm just going to do this one dry so you can see the actual cut. All right. There's 0 gap between this piece, the fixture plate there, and the blade. So I think that's why it was rubbing the way it did and didn't pop off. But in any event, I think that worked pretty well. I am going to call that a success. So thanks a lot and take care.